Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 7 for Sevens, a celebration of leadership on SDG 7. To moderate the evening, please welcome CEO, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All, Rachel Kite.
Good evening. Thank you very much for coming. I know you had 6,000 other receptions, dinners, notes to file, briefs to write, and other things to do. And we're just delighted that you could all join us for what we really enjoy. Together with Ashton Trust last year, we brought forward the idea of 7 for 7, a moment to celebrate the leadership that's necessary to turn the aspirations, the goals, and the indicators of the SDGs into differences in people's lives. This year, we've decided to focus the celebration of leadership for SDG 7 on where realizing SDG 7 transforms people's lives by giving them access to clean air, to better healthcare, how health and energy together can really make a difference. The 7 honorees are going to be recognized tonight for their efforts to really advance action on those two goals, the grey area between them. They include organisations ensuring reliable energy access for remote healthcare centres, fighting urban heat islands with innovative yet simple solutions, and tackling clean cooking challenges that blights the lives of so many millions of families around the world, in particular women and children. What's most important about each of the honorees tonight is that they represent fantastic examples of leadership, but of proven, replicable and scalable solutions that need our appreciation, need our backing, so that they can go on expanding and saving and transforming lives. Before you hear from the honorees, we've got a wonderful group of exciting speakers. No pressure there, ladies and gentlemen. And the most exciting, for me anyway, the most exciting speaker of all until the next one is my chairman, one of the most dynamic leaders in the fast-evolving electricity and energy sector, Antonio Machia, who's the chairman of SEforALL's administrative board and also the CEO of Energias de Portugal. Antonio, the floor is yours. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. I'm going to be very quick because the stage today is basically for the people that are supposed to show what they've been doing and why they were chosen. But I would like to again and again to thank for Ashton Award for the partnership. It's important to give visibility. Visibility on the stories is critical. Thank you, Minister, to be here. Denmark is a flagship in a lot of ways in what concerns fighting climate change and having a clear strategy. Amin is not here, but clearly I would like, of course, to stress the work that Amin has been doing, the Deputy Secretary General. But clear, to be very quick, this year we were focused on leadership in energy and health. And I really believe one thing is SDG 7 is at the core of other SDGs. Without the 7, the rest, a lot of those, will never be reached. And that we need to understand this, and I wanted really to share with you that vision without that SDG 7 is at the core of a lot of those, not to say all of those. We'll see a lot of different solutions. And clear learning from success cases that can be scalable and how people are committed. Everything is a story. We always need stories to believe. And these are stories that we can believe. We are talking about 7 stories. 7 is not by chance, it's because 7. And so I really want to thank you all. But we can only leave no one behind. But clearly what I wanted today, more than anything else, is that to thank Rachel. Rachel, as you know, she was challenged to do other things in life. And it would be impossible not to take this opportunity to thank Rachel. And we will have more, but at least with you all, I want to be sure that we do this today. SEforALL would probably not exist today if it was not for Rachel. And clearly, I think that this week was more powerful because a lot of things were happening because of Rachel. We have learned to work together, and also strong personality. She has a strong. I don't know if she know. She can be stubborn, and can she be so whatever. So, and so, frankly, it's what I wanted to stress is, of course, all of these examples are great and indispensable. But Rachel, I've tried to convince her to stay, and the only thing that I was able to tell her today is, I know where you live. If I need to use a threat or something to grab her attention in the future and to get your help. So, Rachel, thank you, and let's proceed. Thank you very much. Rachel.
Thank you very much. More of that later. Yes, very, very much later. So our next speaker is His Excellency Rasmus Prehn, who is the newly minted and very dynamic Minister for International Development for Denmark. Just in June of this year, the Danish changed their government and put in place a young government with an extraordinary ambition, backed by the voters of Denmark around climate change and energy. It's been a real pleasure and a privilege for me to work so closely with your colleagues across the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Ministry of Climate and Energy, and other ministries. I'm looking for a Danish passport. I feel so, I am, after all, European, but sort of somehow adrift off the coast of Europe at the moment. But really, to all of I think the permanent representative is here, Martin, to Trina, to the whole team in Copenhagen. We've learnt so much working with you. It's been a real privilege. And I look forward to continuing to work with you, the SEforALL team, going forward. But with all of that gush, now I just want to hand the microphone over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel, for inviting me to, I believe, the most important reception at all this week, and also to invite me up at this very beautiful stage with one of the most important SDGs. It's really a privilege. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it's very much a pleasure to celebrate the outcome of a productive and successful collaboration on energy transition for the Climate Summit. But also on a sad backdrop, because Rachel will soon be leaving SEforALL. Allow me to make 3 points. First, the energy coalition has been a huge success. Not only talking the talk, but also walking the walk with concrete initiatives. As co-leads, Denmark, Ethiopia, and SEforALL have highlighted energy transition as key to reach the Paris Agreement. We must invest in renewable energy, energy efficiency, and electrification to deliver 90% of the CO2 reduction needed by 2050. At the same time, we must leave no one behind and connect the 840 million people living without electricity. Second, we need innovative partnerships between public and private sectors. We face a huge challenge, but we can be done if we get all hands on deck and focus our energy on energy. A good example is the Getting to Zero coalition on shipping, working across value chains and sectors to transform a sector that is difficult to change. And finally, we need leadership. Denmark is proud to be a front runner at national level and willing to continue to lead internationally as well. But now, the really hard work begins. To follow up, to implement. Exactly for that reason, Rachel, it is very sad that you will leave us. SEforALL, and you especially, have been instrumental in ensuring high-level buy-in, insisting on including those of risk of being left behind, and setting new agendas on energy transition. Denmark has been in cooperation with SEforALL since its beginning, with frank and good discussions and priorities and strategies. Rachel, I wish you all the best and hope that you will stay in touch. Thank you very much indeed.
Beginning to feel like Elizabeth Taylor at a Michael Jackson benefit now, but I love you more. If that doesn't translate, I'm very sorry. Let's moving along. So when you think about health and when you think about the SDG for health, which is one of these over here, it's a green one, you think of the World Health Organization, the extraordinary leadership of Dr. Tedros and the amazing staff of WHO who are in the field fighting back everything from zoonotic diseases and pandemics, and this remarkable unit in the heart of WHO, small but determined and always led with great passion by Dr. Maria Neira. It's the Unit on Public Health, Environment and Social Determinants of Health. Long name for really, she's the woman you go to when it comes to making sure that health clinics around the world have access to energy. She's the woman who's put, together with her team and the leadership of Dr. Tedros, the impact of poor air quality on human health. And it's because of that work and the work backed by other foundations and other universities around the world that have studied this that has actually transformed the whole climate debate now, because we understand this to be one that is killing us and making us more stupid the more we breathe bad air. So she's in red today. I said to her, what colour is your SDG? And she said, I don't know, which I think we should tell Dr. Tedros she doesn't know the colour. But I want to hand the stage now over to Dr. Maria Neira, without whom, frankly, so much progress would not have been made. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, now everybody will notice that I'm in red. Without you, nobody will notice it. I don't know why you did that. Rachel, I have to start changing some myths about the SDGs. You know, I'm coming from a world where everybody will say, let's put the SDG 3 in the middle and all of them will be around. If you don't achieve the number 3, you will never, the others will not have sense. And today you say exactly another thing. Put the 7 in the middle, without the 7, the others will not be achieved. Well, I'm trying to be very loyal to my organization and say that health is in the middle, but honestly, I don't care. I mean, I know very well that for our healthcare clinics, hello, Samira, and for people who needs access to health, without energy, there will be nothing to do. And without, you need a lot of energy to be a doctor, to start with. So probably we are already very much intrinsically linked on that. We need energy, we need water, we need gender, we need all of these things. What I like very much about the 7, and that's why I'm almost convinced that it has to be in the middle, and don't tell that to Tedros. I know that you will say that I didn't know the color, but don't tell him either that I'm ready to accept that SDG is the 7 is the one that has to be in the middle. It's because without that energy, you will not have access to water. Then our clinics will not be able to provide the services we need. And then the rest will collapse as well. So I'm almost convinced, but I still need to have a lot of space for all of those SDGs. And another thing that I love about the 7 is something that I'm getting from my grandmother. She didn't know it, but she was an Spanish feminist. But she never knew it. She thought it was Spanish, but not a feminist. And then one day I asked her, you were a real feminist? They say, no, but you did a demonstration in front of the government for women to be able to open a bank account. She says, oh, yes, but this is different. It's because, you're right. And I say, okay, fine. If you were now ready to go for a fight, something that will change completely the life of a woman, what you will be fighting for? And then she took some minutes, and then she says, I think I will give them a washing machine. And I said, why a washing machine? Because then they will not need to spend 3 hours every day, taking care of washing and all the clothes and all of these things. And that will liberate women. And then they will go to school, and then they will have time to be free and all of this, what you call the feminist thing. So she was a real feminist, and I agree very much with her that if you want to do something about gender, please make sure that you don't have billions of girls every day collecting wood because they don't have energy, they don't have the pleasure to do this, and then going to school. So yes, the 7 has to be there, and I'm almost there. I'm almost agreeing on that. I want to say that sometimes people ask me, with 7 million deaths every year, with all of those diseases that are caused by air pollution, with the work you are doing, always talking about how many diseases air pollution is causing and climate change and everything, how do you manage to keep some optimism? And well, I don't know, but I'm pathologically optimistic. And one of the reasons I'm keeping optimistic is because I meet from time to time people like you, the ones today that she's committed to do and change the city of Medellin, somebody in Ghana who is deciding to go around and traveling around the world and promote this idea of better energy for women and better energy for their country, us then, and all of these people who are providing ideas. The gentleman, Alexander, that I made today on this waste management, organic waste management, come on, this gives me a lot of optimism. And that's proof that if we do things like what we are doing today, we are celebrating today, people who is ready to change things, this is going to happen. So this is what gives me optimism. There are plenty of ideas, plenty of people that is moving, governments that they have leadership. We are watching you. This is what Greta says the other day, so we are watching you. I suppose she's watching us as well, the WHO. We are ready for that because we are doing our best to make sure that everybody understands that air pollution is killing us. And this is very much related to the fact that people doesn't have access to energy. I'm almost there, Rachel. It was a pleasure to know you. Rachel and I, the funny thing is that WHO and the World Bank, because she has a life before what she's doing now. Huh? I don't know whether you knew it, but she was the vice president of the World Bank. So I remember being in the big meetings and the COPs and all of that. Because I'm W and she was W, we were always neighbors. It was a big difference. She was a vice president of the World Bank, so she was coming with 20 people around. And I was with Marina, the two of us there, and the WHO with the little flag and saying, guys, you need to take health into consideration. And they were looking at us, yes, shut up, keep quiet. Here we are, making a lot of noise. We become friends. Now she is even more convinced that what we are. Well, no, not yet. One thing I would like to convince her and all of you is the last thing. You are always talking about energy transition. Please do me a favor. Do a healthy energy transition. That will be perfect. Because then you will prioritize all of those interventions that not only will be doing a better urban planning for the cities, a better cities for the futures and urbanization, and better interventions, but in addition to that, you will keep the health benefits in mind. We will monitor for you the health benefits that you are generating with that. Minister, you can do your campaign, your next campaign for your government, telling people how many lives you have saved, because WHO told you that by putting in place this intervention, you will be preventing all of these diseases. So healthy energy transition. And the last one, you are right, Rachel. Air pollution is now reaching the placenta barrier, and therefore the cerebral cortex of the children. Before they are born, they are already affected by air pollution. And somehow, all of us, my dear, yes, our brains are affected by air pollution. Check out, because maybe we are not as intelligent as we should be. And that is maybe why we are not doing enough. So thank you very much, and we will miss you, Rachel. Thank you.
Thank you, Marta. No, and I urge you to read the latest scientific reports that came out in the last 2 weeks. And what you need to remember is that when a scientific report comes out like that, published and peer-reviewed, somebody decided to put the money into that research many, many years ago, and we owe them a debt of gratitude for being aware of this issue and potentially the impact of it many years before we were. So our last honoree, well, no, before we get to the honorees, the last person I want to bring up here on stage is Harriet Lamb, who's the head of Ashton, who are our partners in 7for7. Last year, we decided to get together and do a little bit of a recognition of leadership. We thought it was important. We've been very happy to work with Ashton again this year. She came on board as the new boss in the summer, May, June, and it's been a real pleasure to work with your team. So the floor is yours. Here you go. I think you're mic'd up, yeah? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Don't you love the fact that 7for7 aeroplanes are generally known for contributing to the climate crisis, and we can take that and just turn it on its head and talk about 7 leaders who are leading in meeting SDG 7. And I had a very good friend, Molly, who worked in the White House at the time that the Clinton administration was just beginning to really grapple with the big battles around climate change. And one day she came back to her desk and found a little yellow sticky note stuck down there that said an alleged Chinese proverb: "The man who says it cannot be done should get out of the way of the woman who is already doing it." And I hope and I know that tonight we are celebrating 7 amazing women and men who are already doing it, who are getting on and creating the living alternative and showing how another world could look and be. And they're doing it not through fancy-pantsy new technology, but sometimes by taking very ordinary, everyday objects that we can all be involved with, from paint pots to plant pots. And they're doing it by working in collaboration. Volunteers with mayors, health departments with energy departments, reaching out across divides. And they're doing it by engaging marginalised communities and putting them really first, not last. And so as they're taking carbon out of the economy, they're putting justice back in. And that's what's so critical if we're going to take people with us. Because on the one hand, we can feel the growing momentum and the really urgency of the need to respond, not only to nature, but also to people on the streets calling on us to take much more radical action. And on the other hand, of course, most people in the world are not worrying about climate change. For most people, they're worrying about the choice between heating and eating. They're worrying about jobs, putting food on the table, looking after their elderly relatives, about the health of their children. And what's so brilliant about the leaders is that they've done that. They've engaged the communities in a way that people can see the benefits, that they can see that they're gaining also jobs and improving their health. And so they're driving leadership both on the climate and on health and livelihoods creations. And I guess the challenge to all of us is, how can we take these amazing 7 examples, and how can we take the myriad of examples around the world like these and really give them the pace and the scale, the changes that we need to see if we're going to respond to the climate crisis. And sometimes it's quite hard to imagine what that other world is going to look like. And it's really wonderful, therefore, that tonight we're very pleased that after this evening, when you're going to see 7 inspiring films, you can also have the chance to go to the world premiere of a virtual reality experience. Because Surround Vision was so inspired when they heard about Medellin at the Ashton Awards that they went straight out there and made this incredible virtual reality film where you can see for one moment what the city has done and how they've really gone from being the murder capital of the world to becoming a green showcase and bringing down the temperature in Medellin by 2.5 to 4 degrees in just 2 years. And as they always say, if we can do it in Medellin, come on guys, we can do that everywhere. So to end with the words of the great Indian, and we've got many Indian leadership examples here tonight, Arundhati Roy, the activist and novelist, said, "Another world is possible. And sometimes, when it's very quiet, I can almost hear her breathing." Thanks very much.
So we're going to come to the honorees now, and just before we do, I want to just say that this wouldn't be possible without the members of the board who are here. I think Harish Handy's here. Obviously, Antonio's here. I'm not sure who else we've got here from our administrative board. Elizabeth here was earlier. And then our funding partners. I'm delighted to see Sandra Smithy here. Jeff Prinz is here. The government of Denmark. Obviously, we wouldn't be here without the governments of Sweden, the UK, other foundations and other governments, and I'm going to forget somebody now. Dan Hamza's here from KSEP, made all our cooling work possible, and has been one of the visionaries in a lot of the work on cooling. So you know who you are. Thank you for making tonight possible. So our first honoree, we're delighted to have with us this evening, is Her Excellency Samira Bawumia, who's the Second Lady of Ghana. She's the ambassador of the Clean Cooking Alliance and founder of the CEO Samira Empowerment and Humanitarian Project. In Ghana, 8 out of 10 people cook with solid fuels, such as wood and charcoal, leading to significant impacts on their health, gender equality, and the environment. What's remarkable about the Second Lady of Ghana is she uses her extraordinary charisma and her position of power and leverage to relentlessly work for the improvement of lives of women, children, and young people. She works with government, she pulls industry leaders and communities together, she inspires people to make a change in their own lives, and she's elevated this important issue to a priority in her country. Let's look at a video that explains her work. Thank you.
मैं प्रतिभा वजरे रायपुर छत्तीसगढ़ से प्राथमिक स्वास्थ्य.
So that was just a trick. If you have more, what? Wrong video. So if you have more than one glass of Sauvignon Blanc, it is proven that. There we go. There we go.
Hi, my name is Akosia Annabelle and I am the Programme Manager for the Clean Cooking Alliance in Ghana. Currently there are 3 billion people across the planet who do not have access to clean cooking solutions. Her Excellency, Mrs. Hajia Samira Bawumia, the Second Lady of Ghana, is an ambassador for the Clean Cooking Alliance. Having her on board as an ambassador locally is super valuable for us. In Ghana, over 75% of the population depend on solid fuels such as wood and charcoal for cooking. This is having a major impact on deforestation. These fuels also cause a lot of toxic gases and smoke. There are biomass cook stoves that are coming into the market, also LPG, which is a much cleaner fuel. But these also bring challenges because of production of the stoves themselves locally, access, and also affordability. The Second Lady has been really influential in helping us to increase adoption of improved cook stoves in schools. With her influence, we're able to galvanise government, Her Excellency has also brought the issue of clean cooking to a world stage. She addresses high-level international audiences on our behalf to talk about how those audiences can contribute to providing a solution.
Thank you, and please join me in welcoming Her Excellency to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you
So much indeed.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Good evening. 3 years ago, I was approached to be an ambassador for the then Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves, and I was slightly reluctant because I did not understand the issues. And so they took pains to explain to me, and I came round to it. It was a no-brainer. I had to be part of it because the issues that it addresses are close to my heart. And that story told me something, that the more we speak about it, the more people understand it and the more action we are going to get. And that inspires me to work every day. My baptism of fire was at the Clean Cooking Conference in India, New Delhi. That was my first event, and it was amazing how industry players were coming together. And since then, I've been to the WHO to speak on the issue. Thank you, Maria, for inviting me. We went for the World Health Conference, the first conference on environment and health, linking them together. And that is the conversation that's not being had, because prior to this, it's been seen as a cooking issue, but it is a development issue. It is a gender issue. It is a humanitarian issue. It's an environment issue. It's a climate issue. So for all of us who are worried about all of those issues, this is why we need to take it seriously. So I'd like to thank everybody who's been part of this. I'd like to thank Radha Mutaya, who was our former CEO at the Clean Cooking Alliance, and of course, Daphne van der Lans, for your leadership and for focusing the discussion on the solution. So it's not just the cook stoves, it's the energy. It's about bringing together partnerships so that we can get to the heart of the matter. I'd like to thank the World Bank, the countries that are supporting this effort. It's been amazing and wonderful having you together. I also like to thank my hardworking staff who work very hard every day. And of course, SEforALL and the board for choosing me as one of the winners tonight. I couldn't have done this without all of you, and I'm committed to working hard to get this going. In Ghana, for instance, we're working with the Energy Commission to design policies and programs that would even inspire the young people, because we want a generational shift. We want a change in the way we do things. Some of the issues with the clean cooking initially is adoption. And so how do we change cultural mindsets? Because some of our cooking techniques require that we use, solid fuel, the biomass fuels that are, so how do we change them? And we want to start from the next generation so that they see things differently and they can be part of the solution. We've seen last week how the young ones are telling us what to do and how their future depends on our decisions today. So we're working with the Energy Commission. I chaired a meeting with led by our planning ministry, including our health ministries, to talk about, and 4 other ministries, to talk about how to mainstream the issue of clean cooking. But I'd like to say, for all of us here, we love our world. We love the women. We want to improve upon healthcare. We want to improve upon gender issues, women empowerment, education, well-being of our children. We're trying to fight maternal mortality. We're trying to fight neonatal mortality. All of these cannot be achieved if we do not address the clean cooking issue. It is the common thread that runs through all of us. And I believe that together we can make it happen if we invest in the solutions that would provide for clean cooking, and if we are focused in our work, and if we speak loudly and we get the political will, which Daphne is working hard towards. So I thank you so much for this honor. I'm really honored by it, and I hope I can do more so that we can get to the bottom of it as soon as possible. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your commitment to one of the lagging indicators in the SDGs, one which really we have to make progress on in this decade of delivery that the Secretary-General called for today. So our second honoree is SEforALL, who've created an innovative and, really importantly, affordable biogas system that turns animal waste into clean cooking fuels and produces planet-friendly fertilizer. Now, SEforALL won earlier this year an Ashton Award, and they operate in Colombia, India, Kenya, Mexico, Nicaragua. More than 7,000 systems have been installed, so this is scaling and scaling quickly. Obviously, this improves the health of thousands of families. It's saving about 1.5 million trees so far and mitigating more than 100,000 tons of CO2. So it's a win-win, win-win-win. So please join me in, well, no, actually, we're going to have a little video, first of all. So here's a video that shows you the work of SEforALL, and then coming to the stage will be CEO and co-founder Alex Eaton. So here's the video. Thank you.
Mi nombre es Antonio Sánchez Pérez, soy originario del estado de Tlaxcala, México. Mi trabajo es campesino, cultivo el maíz, la haba, el frijol y tengo varios animales. Utilizaba el gas LP y leña. Los aspectos negativos es que gastaba más, contaminaba más. Yo me enteré del sistema de biobolsa por el perifoneo. Me interesé y fui a la plática y de ahí fue donde pues ya me conecté con la persona que estaba en el sistema y que lo están distribuyendo. Vi el sistema de pagos que lo hice cada mes hasta que incluye ya el total. El sistema de biogás funciona de la siguiente manera. Se le echa el estiércol dentro de la bolsa. Hay bacterias que descomponen el estiércol y lo convierten en un líquido que se llama biol y en gas.
Vamos a tener que agitar para que haga la fermentación. Lo vamos a tener que agitar la bolsa para que se revuelva y haga la fermentación y produzca el gas. De aquí sale el gas. Una va a la estufa y la otra va al boiler del baño. Me voy a llevar el biol al invernadero para las hortalizas.
Preferimos aquí en la familia cocinar con biogás porque es orgánico, es más económico y nos ayuda a mitigar el medio ambiente.
Thank you. Please welcome Alex Eaton to stage. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you so much. We're all here because we understand the imperative of energy access. On the ground, we can see how energy access ties into so many other issues. We see our mothers and our sisters dying because the air that they breathe is contaminated. We see forests falling, and we see communities locked in cycles of poverty. The people that are most impacted are smallholder farmers. So the people that grow the majority of the world's food do not have access to basic technology, training, financing to provide power for their homes, to provide power for their farms. And it doesn't have to be this way. We could change this narrative. SEforALL could provide clean energy from waste for 2 billion people today. This is something that we can change. We could, by creating energy from waste, we could provide clean cooking fuel, we could provide clean mechanical energy, we could provide clean electricity whose only byproduct is organic fertilizer and healthy food. This is really, really important because the farmers that we try to serve are the ones that we need to support us to reach these goals. These farmers are net consumers of energy, but they could actually be producers of energy. They could be bottling gas and producing electricity for their neighbors. They are producing greenhouse gases today, but collectively their farms could be the largest carbon sink on Earth. This is something that we could do if we work together, and we need everybody's help to do this. I grew up on a small farm, so I can tell you that small farmers are the hardest working people on Earth. All we have to do is empower them, give them access to technology, give them access to training and financing, and they will do the hard work. And they will take care of their communities. They will help us reach the SDGs. We will be working right alongside them. Please join us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. As the granddaughter of a smallholder farmer, I can testify to how hard they work. So our next honoree is Chhattisgarh State Renewable Energy Development Agency, CREDA. In 2018, they won the Ashburn Award for Sustainable Energy and Health. CREDA collaborates with the State Health Department on a program that provides solar power at all government-owned primary healthcare centres in the state. About 80,000 patients per day benefit from the solar electrification of 900 health centres and district hospitals. Access to regular electricity has, of course, enabled water supply, safe refrigeration for vaccines, and power for other vital equipment. Let's see their work. Thank you.
मैं प्रतिभा वजरे रायपुर छत्तीसगढ़ से प्राथमिक स्वास्थ्य केंद्र मंदिर हसद में लेडीज हेल्थ विजिटर के पोस्ट में हूँ। शासकीय विद्युत से बिजली थी। पहले इलेक्ट्रिशियन का जो रहता था वो बीच बीच में बंद हो जाता था पावर, और प्रसव कराने में अंधेरा हो जाता था तो टार्च उपयोग करना पड़ता था, तो दिक्कत जाती थी। क्रेडा द्वारा सोलर पावर 2013 में हमारे यहाँ स्थापित किया गया। सोलर पावर आने से 24 घंटा हम लोग को बिजली उपलब्ध हो जाती है। इलेक्ट्रिशियन का उपयोग कूलर, पंखा और फ्रिज है, और ये सारी लैब टेक्नीशियन के वहाँ पर भी है। कंप्यूटर में यूज़ होता है। पेशेंट केयर में इस प्रकार का इम्प्रूव किया गया है, पेशेंट ज़्यादा आते हैं और डिलीवरीज भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो रही है हमारे यहाँ भी, क्योंकि लाइट का प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। जी हाँ, सोलर ऊर्जा अपने पूरे इंडिया में ला सकता है।
Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Jain to the stage. He is the Chief Engineer for CREDA. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am from the Chhattisgarh State Renewable Energy Development Agency. Chhattisgarh is full of forest, 45% forest, and it is very difficult to provide the access to energy and access to health in the remotely located health centers and villages. As a part of activity, we have installed more than 1,000 systems in the different health centers, community health centers, primary health centers and sub-health centers, with the support of Ministry of Non-Conventional Energy Sources and state government. In fact, we are maintaining these systems with our robust O&M network. We ensure the power supply to these health centers on 24/7 basis to provide the healthcare services in the remotely located health centers. We have proved that the off-grid decentralized solar photovoltaic systems is the most reliable, financially viable solutions for the access to energy and access to health. In India, about 30 million households are still unelectrified. They are not having access to energy and access to health. Our target is to provide access to energy, to health, to these peoples. In fact, solar is in the state of the country to achieve the National Health Mission target and solar target. I would like to thank Ashton and SEforALL for honoring this. Thank you very much again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for travelling so far to be part of this celebration and your work. It's wonderful to see. I think in the years that I've worked for SEforALL, there are two moments that sort of really switched the light bulb on for me, at least. One of which was when a nurse came up to me and threw her arms around me, which is a little disconcerting. I wasn't quite sure why. And you know, what she said to me was that because there was reliable electricity in her healthcare facility, she could fully explore her vocation. And for most nurses, it's a job, but it's a vocation, and you can't fulfill it if you don't have the tools at your disposal, and you don't have those if you don't have electricity. So in the same vein, our next honoree is the Philips Community Life Centres. Developed by Philips Africa Innovation Hub, Community Life Centres are holistic platforms for strengthening primary health care, combining renewables, energy efficient design, and locally relevant medical devices. So healthcare really can't be delivered without all of that in order to make devices work, to have a reliable energy supply. The Philips model really shows us how we can do this using renewable energy to power off-grid primary healthcare facilities that are safe and reliable and effective. Let's have a look at their work. Thank you.
My name is Dr. Francis Ngoge. I am a medical officer. There are many problems that people who seek healthcare face. Most important is accessibility to health. Some health facilities are too far away from the people. Some services are too expensive, and also the problem of reliable power is prevalent. The Community Life Center is a partnership between the community, the government, and Philips. The community comes up with a facility that they would like to have. The government provides infrastructure as well as manpower, and Philips provides technology and other solutions. Philips introduced electronic medical records, which has made data analysis simpler. We have an autoclave, newborn resuscitator, ultrasound, and the vital sign monitors. We also have the solar. The solar power has enabled this facility to run for 24 hours. With the light, it discourages crime. Infrastructure has developed both inside and outside. And then the business outside are also able to run for more hours. There's a borehole which provides the facility with clean water at no cost. The water is also piped to the homesteads, so we have seen the reduction in waterborne diseases. The community takes care of this facility. They own it. They are not treated as a consumer or a client. They are treated as a partner. Those who are the drivers of universal healthcare should maybe pay a visit here, take this concept and run away with it.
Thank you very much. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Jan Willem Schegelund, who's the Head of Government Affairs at Philips. And if I butchered your name, I'm truly sorry.
Pretty good, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think what is important about this video is the emphasis on community, and I'll get back to that. But thanks very much for the award. Philips is a company that put itself in a mission to improve the lives of 3 billion people a couple of years ago, before the SDG era. But then when the SDG era came along, it provided a new North Star for everyone. And so we too recalibrated ourselves. And what are we doing? Who are we trying to reach? So we revised our target and said, out of those 3 billion, we should really also be targeting the underserved populations. So we put a target to reach 400 million people in underserved populations by 2030. And that leadership commitment allowed us to continue with these kind of activities to develop healthcare for those that are left behind. And what is important in that drive is that we started out with providing light. Now, at the time, we were still a lighting company as well. And in fact, we were the second largest producer of light in the world after the sun. Now, we spun off that company to become Signify. But when people heard that we could provide light to their communities, they said, well, the other thing we really need is healthcare. And if you look at the situation in Africa, there are about 100,000 primary community centers, primary healthcare centers like the ones you've seen, except for the fact that they're in a really, really poor state. If you look at the WHO, Peter Salama told me this week there is one major challenge that we need to have solved for universal health coverage is these primary healthcare centers. They need water, they need energy, and they need connectivity. And about half of them in the world don't have it in Africa. And we need to double the size of those. So the challenge is huge out there. And you've seen what light and energy brings to these communities. And if you consistently provide healthcare, then you start to build the trust of the communities. And if you are listening to the communities, mostly women, then you can also understand what women want. Now, I'm not Mel Gibson, but we do have the civil society. Was that for me? Yeah.
I said, thank goodness.
Yeah. If you look at the civil society, we've been working with them to actually understand what women want. And all the healthcare they want, yes, they want that too. But when we really listened carefully to the communities, they said, well, we also want a place to dance. So if you're looking at an electricity application for healthcare centers, think about dancing, because after all, these are health centers. It's about health and well-being. We have been able to do some of these things and scaling them across Africa because of our partnerships with the UN system. And in particular, UNFPA, who represents the interest of women and girls, have been phenomenal in brokering the trust between the governments and the private sector to revitalize some of these centers and build them. And it is really these kind of partnerships that energize us and energize the communities. And there's a current running between SDG 7 and SDG 3, which allows us to stimulate the heartbeat of the communities and empower the people that live within them. And after all, it's them that belong in the middle of the SDGs. So thank you very much for this recognition.
Thank you so much. Our last three honorees this evening represent leadership at the city level, specifically finding solutions to urban heat issues, which are becoming a greater and greater threat to so many. The first of the three is from our host city this evening, the New York City Cool Roofs Initiative. And I have to say, if you haven't seen cool roofs in New York, it is really cool. I was first taken up on 125th Street by President Clinton, and he said, look south, Rachel, and there were just white roofs as far as I could see. The City Initiative promotes and facilitates the cooling of New York City's rooftops, working with non-profits, city agencies, and building owners. New York City Cool Roofs engages volunteers in applying white reflective surfaces to roofs. The programme also supports the city's goal of reducing carbon emissions by 80% by 2050, and because it helps decrease the summertime peak energy demand for cooling. In a summer heat wave, the energy needed to power New York City and keep its residents cool is astronomical. The Cool Roofs Initiative helps keep people cool by reducing urban heat island effect and alleviate strain on the grid, helping prevent outages. And to my daughter, who's 11 at home, hopefully watching this, Nia, who did a Cool Roofs project for middle school last year and tried to persuade the school to change their roof to a cool one, this one's for you. Let's see the amazing work that they're doing.
You hear me, Modu?
Hi, my name is Ariana Williams. I'm from the Bronx, New York, and I'm the co-supervisor for New York City Cool Roofs. New York City, all the buildings are blacktop, so it absorbs a lot of heat and it gives off a lot of heat in the nighttime when it should usually be cooler. So people use a lot of their air conditioning. New York City Cool Roofs is a program to reduce the heat around New York City by painting the roofs with a reflective coating. The white silicone reflects the sun, and so the temperature actually drops inside of the building. We're trying to reduce the air pollution, deaths from heat exhaustion, and also the energy that we use in our buildings. So this is an infrared thermometer gun, and we use this actually to measure how the roof is right now without the paint. And that's reading about 167 degrees. And when I point it over here to the white, it reads 116 degrees now. And that's only the first coating of the paint. It takes away how much energy you use in your building for your air conditioner. And if everyone around the city painted their rooftops with the reflective coating, it would reduce the temperature of the city by 3 degrees. The program started in 2009, so we've been cooling the city for about 10 years. And in 1 year, we aim to paint 1 million square feet. That's about 13 soccer pitches. This supports the city's goal to reduce carbon emissions by 80% by 2050. The training program aims to educate us as well as provide us with jobs and provide us with experience. The smaller you make it, then there'll only be able to be one. I'm doing this today, but it's gonna help the city tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. It may seem small, but it's actually a big impact.
Thank you. Please welcome Ms. Janie Bavishi, the Director of the New York City Mayor's Office of Resiliency, to the stage. Janie, thank you so much for being here tonight. The floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much. I think it's very obvious to everyone in this room that young people around the world are urging world leaders to take action on climate. And in New York City, we're listening. We feel like that it's a moral obligation to make sure that we're protecting New Yorkers from the impacts of climate change that we know we cannot avoid. And Cool Roofs is so ingenious because it is a very, very simple idea that is making a very, very big difference. In 2009, we set the goal of coating 1 million square feet of rooftops every single year. And in just 10 years, in the past 9 years, actually, of working towards that goal, we've exceeded expectations. We've already coated over 10 million square feet of rooftops across New York City. We know that these coatings, installing these reflective coatings, reduce indoor temperatures by 30%. My favorite part of this program is that it addresses so many of the city's goals all at once, because by adding these reflective coatings to rooftops, we're not only addressing the impacts of climate change, such as extreme heat, but we're also lowering electricity bills, creating cooler, healthier spaces. We're training workers, and we're reducing our emissions. There's plenty of room to come up with more solutions like this that are simple and scalable. It's a challenge that we have to take seriously, continue to push the boundaries to meet the challenge, and I know we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And there are global challenges to fix cool roofs, and KSEP and others in the room are funding that, a lot of that coming from the inspiration of New York's example. Our next honoree is the beautiful city of Medellin in Colombia. Colombia's second largest city faces the new threat of urban temperature rise and energy demand increasing. The city's response has been to bring people together to plant trees and shrubs and create a better environment for everyone. The Green Corridors project shades cyclists and pedestrians, cools built-up areas and cleans the air along busy roads. The city's botanical gardens train people from disadvantaged backgrounds to become city gardeners and planting technicians. To date, Medellin has created parks and alleys along 18 roads and 12 waterways, planting thousands of trees and shrubs. As a result, already temperatures have fallen by 2, almost 3 degrees Celsius in many places, reducing the amount of energy the city needs to keep cool and making commutes more comfortable. Let's have a look.
Soy Federico Gutiérrez, alcalde de la ciudad de Medellín. Corredores verdes es adaptarnos a las necesidades ambientales de la ciudad. La Medellín en 1991 llegó a ser la ciudad más violenta del mundo. Cuando tomamos la decisión de sembrar los 30 corredores verdes, nos basamos en aquellas zonas donde más necesitan el aporte ambiental. Hoy con esa intervención hemos logrado reducir temperatura en más de 2 grados centígrados y ya la ciudadanía lo siente. Muchos sitios de la ciudad se habían convertido en basureros, al lado de las quebradas. Se habían convertido en sitios de consumo de droga porque eran sitios abandonados, aislados. Lo que hemos hecho es transformarlos en jardines. Volvieron los niños, volvieron las familias. La comunidad los cuida, les da cariño y la gente sabe que es de ellos. Lo hacemos para la gente. Lo que hemos hecho es contratar muchos más jardineros y eso nos ha permitido capacitar a mucha gente que no tenía trabajo. Cuando uno ve las abejas, cuando tú ves los pájaros de nuevo en estos corredores donde ya no estaban, ahí es donde uno entiende que regresó la vida a donde vamos llegando con los 30 corredores verdes de Medellín.
Thank you. Please welcome Paula Palacio, the Secretary of Infrastructure for the City of Medellin, to the stage to accept this recognition on behalf of the Mayor. Thank you. Paula, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Medellín está honrada de poder participar en este espacio. Es una ciudad que ha liderado y ejecutado proyectos como el que acabamos de ver, que ayudan a transformar la ciudad a través de estos objetivos de desarrollo sostenible. Este escenario es muy importante para nosotros porque podemos aprender de todas las iniciativas globales para poder aplicarlas en nuestros territorios también. En nombre de nuestro alcalde, Federico Gutiérrez, y de toda la ciudad, gracias. Hace apenas 3 décadas, Medellín era la ciudad más violenta del mundo y no era reconocida sino más que por su violencia. Vivimos en medio del miedo, en medio del dolor, pero hoy abrazamos ese oscuro pasado porque nos trajo hasta aquí y nos ha permitido también superar la adversidad trabajando en equipo y nos ha permitido también dar lo mejor de nosotros mismos. Gracias a la planificación del territorio, concebido desde la estructura natural, nuestras laderas, nuestros cerros tutelares, nuestra topografía, ahora Medellín es un mejor lugar para vivir. Las condiciones naturales de la ciudad, que conforma montañas y un valle y un ecosistema urbano compuesto por cerros como despensas de flora y fauna, las quebradas, los parques, los corredores verdes, nos han permitido generar y articular conectividad ecológica. Nos ha permitido también tejer proyectos aumentando y cualificando el espacio público e incorporando sistemas de movilidad sostenible que mejoran la calidad ambiental y conforman la nueva configuración urbana. Los corredores verdes recogen partículas contaminantes, producen oxígeno, reducen la sensación térmica,
en el ambiente, absorben carbonos, absorben aguas lluvias y generan una conectividad ecológica. En los últimos años, en Medellín, hemos sembrado cerca de 1 millón de árboles en la zona urbana y 2 millones de árboles en la zona rural. Estamos implementando sistemas de movilidad sostenible con vehículos eléctricos integrados a los sistemas de transporte público, ciclorrutas, cables urbanos y redes camineras. Con estas acciones impactamos de manera positiva nuestro territorio para tener una ciudad saludable que promueve el bienestar para todos, adoptando medidas para combatir los efectos del cambio climático y frenar la pérdida de la diversidad biológica. Al finalizar estos 4 años de gobierno, dejamos a la ciudad una ruta de planificación territorial a partir de sus componentes ambientales y naturales, para seguir proyectando el crecimiento urbano con principios ambientales que mejoren la calidad de vida, el aire y generen también equidad ciudadana. En esto seguiremos trabajando, firmes con la promesa de avanzar hacia una ciudad saludable, habitable y que todos nuestros ciudadanos anhelan. I love Ashden, I love SEforALL. Thank you very much.
Muchísimas gracias y gracias por tu liderazgo. Es un ejemplo, es una historia muy importante por toda la región y por todo el mundo. Gracias. Gracias al alcalde. So now what I would like to do is move to our last, but by no means least, recognition, which is to the 6.4 million people of Ahmedabad, which is a beautiful city in its own right with an extraordinary history in Western India. It's the 7th largest urban area in the country. Following the deaths of 1,300 people in a heat wave in May 2010, the municipal council decided it had to act. In 2013, Ahmedabad became the first city in South Asia to design and implement a heat action plan. The Heat Action Plan has not only significantly reduced mortality associated with heat, it also uncovered new strategies to reduce the urban heat island effect and reduce indoor air temperatures. Ahmedabad has shown the simple act of painting a roof white can reduce heat. Let's have a look at the extraordinary story of Ahmedabad.
My name is Dr. Tejas Shah. I am a Deputy Health Officer and as well I am looking after Heat Action Plan in Ahmedabad city. In 2010, there was a heat wave in Ahmedabad and the temperature reached beyond 46 degrees. Generally, there were around 110 deaths a day. But during those days, the number of deaths per day were increased somewhere around 300 or so. It was a deadly heat wave. We didn't have any system, so we have implemented the Heat Action Plan in 2013. We track each and every reported heat stroke case and put it on the maps to identify vulnerable zones across the city. To reach the people is the most important part of the Heat Action Plan. During the summer months, we are issuing alerts when the temperature is going to be beyond 45 degrees centigrade. We will call it red alert. We are using multiple ways to reach people. Electronic media, print media, radio jingles, and we are sending our grassroots level workers to the areas in which the most vulnerable people are living during the red alert period. We are changing the timings of the schools. We are making sure that there are no power cuts. We are distributing water in all of our bus depots and stations, and our hospitals are very much ready. We do training for healthcare providers, how to tackle this heat-related illnesses and what to do in extreme emergencies as well. We have also developed some cool roof system across the city. By application of this cool roof, the inside temperature reduces up to 5 to 7 degrees, and it is also useful to the people that it lowers the electricity bill as well. In 2010, 265 heat stroke cases were reported. In 2016, there was a more deadly heat wave and only 33 heat stroke cases. So the impact is there actually. Nowadays, many cities and many states have adopted heat action plan, and many cities are getting benefits from that.
Thank you. Please join me in welcoming the Mayor of Ahmedabad, Ms. Bijay Patel, to the stage. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to be the part of this gathering of distinguished members leading the climate religion campaign across the globe. India is willing to take lead in climate action. Our commitment to combat climate change is rooted in our ethos, which considers Earth as mother. Today, India is the 6th largest producer of renewable energy and 5th largest producer of solar energy in the world. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Excellency of Energy Vision of India in 2016 signifies India's concern over the changing climate and commitment to realization of UN's Sustainable Development Goals. This vision is based on 4 pillars that use energy access, energy efficiency, energy sustainability, and energy security. Energy justice had been the key objective in the last 5 years policy and planning. Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has been a leader among urban bodies in India on green initiatives. We have taken several green steps in the past, such as segregating waste and dry waste, rolling out e-buses, and planting over 1 million saplings in this monsoon. Ahmedabad got an alarming call from 2010 when more than 100 people were affected by heat waves. So we developed heat adaptation plan by partnering with local and global knowledge partners and key stakeholders. It was launched in 2013 and the Ahmedabad city has been intensively involved in completing the heat action plan during summer season. The action plan involves the dissemination of information through various channels regarding the precautionary measures to be followed during heat waves. We attentively engage with the vulnerable communities like slum developers, outdoor workers, children, the elderly, pregnant women, and the people suffering from chronic disease. We utilize the informing technology to educate people at large. The early warning system helps to predict the heat waves. Each department of the city government is given a specifically role to play during the heat wave incidents. The to-do list, including the SOPs, are prepared and incompleted. Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has taken an initiative of building the cool roof across the city with the help of the civil societies. This initiative includes engagement with more than the 3,000 slum households and aims at coloring the entire city with the full full roofs in the coming years. These initiatives benefits the inhabitants by reducing the indoor temperatures and improving the comfort. It not only helps to reduce the energy consumptions but also reduce the carbon emission. This heat action plan has been adopted by 100 cities in India under the ambit of National Disaster Management Authority. According to me, the Ahmedabad Heat Action Plan is one of the best policy examples of how a city of the developing or undeveloped region can learn from the best practicing in the world and design solutions that are local, evidence-based, and yet cost-effective. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So let's have one big last round of applause for all 7 of the honorees, 7 tonight. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to thank the Ford Foundation and the United Nations Foundation who helped us get this amazing space just opposite the United Nations this evening. I'd also like to thank Paddy and the team for their help with the production. It's always great working with you. And I'd like all the staff and consultants and friends of SEforALL to stand up because there's a lot of very hard work that went into today. And in particular to Victoria, who was the lead on this. The amazing comms team have been tweeting away in the back there. Amazing media officer and the whole of the rest of the team. George is here. He's been doing knife-to-knife combat with the UN for the last few days. Where is he? Anyway, everybody's here. Benedict, everybody. So SEforALL is a small team. We're totally dedicated to our partners. If our partners can't go further, faster together, we will not realise SDG 7. You've seen today what can be transformative in people's lives, where we can focus on getting people access to clean, reliable and affordable energy and transform their healthcare outcomes, transform their lives, empower them and make so much more possible. When you see the impact of electricity coming to a place where cooling is made available for the first time, you see the relief on people's faces, you see their productivity grow, you see their health improve, you see their children's smiles broaden, you know that we can do this. SDG 7, yes, it's one of the goals without which none of the other goals are arrived at, and Maria and I just have this thing that we do together. But we need to achieve SDG 7 before 2030 if we're going to achieve the other goals in 2030. The end of the decade for sustainable energy for all is 2024. The clock is ticking. But what's, I think, so empowering is that this is a possible goal. 7.1, access to energy for all, is a possible goal. We have the technology. We have, frankly, lots of the money, and we've been working very hard to connect the supply to the demand of that finance. We have leaders. We have leaders who can persuade other leaders. We have all of you, and we have the honorees. Now, we're an evidence-based organisation, and so we know that a little something sweet at the end of the evening helps you focus. And so there is coffee, there is dessert, there is this magnificent space. You are welcome to hang out, get to know each other if you don't, and to celebrate each other. Without you, these goals will never be realised. Thank you very much.